you can't bring up having seen infinity twice and then not describe it. So as our last thing on the episode, you gotta share.
You're right. You're right.
Such a tease.
Right. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to just start talking and then you tell me what makes sense. Okay. All right. So you led the healing session for the group of Lemuria and Mintaka on Friday, whatever Friday that was. That night, I was lying in bed. Was I watching TV? I don't fucking know, but I was trying to just come down from the evening, and I was clearly integrating after this healing session. And then my mind was wandering, because my mind just fucking does. And then I heard the microcosm is in the macrocosm, but like echoing, like it just kept repeating, and not in an annoying way. It just was like the microcosm is in the macrocosm, the microcosm is in the back. And then as it kept repeating, I saw the letter X, like a black letter X. And then it kind of got further away. And then another black letter X that was smaller kind of overlapped onto that X. And it just kept going, like the X's just kept overlapping and overlapping. And then I saw, I think the letter I, like a capital I, and it was doing the same thing, like just overlapping just into infinity. And then I guess my mind was sort of drawn into that because it was really cool looking. And I was like, what is going on? This is all in my mind's eye. And then as I just kept kind of sitting in the idea of the microcosm is in the macrocosm, because I hear those words and I get it, but like I fucking suddenly felt it. Like it was that whole thing where when you get a download, I described it as when I get a download that big, it feels like any fear or doubt that ever thought about existing, Gandalf comes in and screams, "You shall not pass." And the fears and doubts go back in time and don't even think about existing. Like it just is in your bones and you know it's truth. And even in those downloads, I could, as deep as it felt, I was like, I bet I don't even have the whole, like, I feel like this is only a layer, but yet at the same time, I felt all of the layers at once. I just knew I hadn't quite uncovered them yet, but it was cool to feel it because I was like, oh my God, all the answers are inside of me. I don't have to search anymore, because my whole huge thing with my whole life has been, I can't learn enough. I never have enough answers. There's always something more. I'm like, yay, I learned this thing, but that's not good enough. I need more answers and more answers. And I just keep like, it's frustrating. And in this moment, I was like, there was no frustration. It was complete, utter peace, just relaxation on a cellular level that I don't even know if I can describe it, because it was so complete and total. And I was like, everything's okay. Everything is fucking okay. I already know everything. I don't have to search anymore. All the answers are inside me. And I had to forget what infinity felt like, what all answers existing all at once in every space and time in this one fucking moment that I know are all inside of me. I don't have to search anymore, because I had to make myself forget what this felt like to know everything that ever existed, ever will exist, or could exist. I had to forget that so that I could put myself in this fun little meat suit, in this fun sliver of a human existence, where I could play out a mystery game, that I could uncover what I already knew, but it felt like I was learning it for the first time. So infinity felt like the memory of doing something, but also doing it for the first time, all at the same time. And I just sat there with this beautiful feeling in my body. And as I was sitting there in this beautiful feeling, I heard the first sound in the universe that ever existed. And it was the exhale of this delighted laughter, just the most purest, joyful laughter. And that was the first sound in the universe. And that's what started creation. And creation is love, because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make this make sense, but I knew that creation was love because we've seen timelines like the Zeta timeline where they had to clone themselves because they lost fertility, because they disconnected from their emotional body, and love is an emotion. So that was a dead timeline. When you don't have emotions and you don't have love, it's dead. So love is creation, and love always wins. So in our human battles of like, does good or evil always win? You know, whatever, we go back and forth, like evil always win, you know. No, love always wins, because it's literally a dead timeline not to have and operate completely out of love. So creation is just this complete, it never ends. And so in this spiral of like, the microcosm is in the macrocosm, and I know all the answers and everybody knows all the answers. We're just putting ourselves into these really fun mystery games of slivers of human existence, and also any other existences. We could live as, trees or fucking spiders on a spider planet or whatever, like there's endless possibilities to what we can do, but we limit ourselves purposefully to this one little slice so that we can re-experience something for the first time, even though we already know that we've experienced it, but it's with that joy of like genuine, oh my God, I've never experienced this, but yet I also know I've experienced this. And then in this infinity feeling, I could also see worlds being born, because again, creation is part of infinity. And as part of our ascension process, we're getting help from civilizations and species that have already ascended. And in turn, we are going to help other species that either we create or that have been created, that we're, part of our plan is to help them. But basically, it's just like this continuous chain. Like, we're getting help from more ascended beings. And when we are ascended enough, we're going to be helping lesser ascended beings, and not in a hierarchy or like judgmental way, just like it's all a journey and we're all choosing to do this journey. And so all I could see was like, it was like a ginormous spiral of just worlds being born and worlds being born and worlds being born. And it just never fucking ended. And sometimes the spiral was just pure white, bright light. And sometimes the spiral was like rainbow colored and like colors I couldn't even describe. And it was just existing in this, it was in a black nothingness, but not in like a bad way. It was like, it's kind of like the void, where the void does not end. So creation doesn't end, and you can just keep creating and creating and creating. And it literally never ends. And the entire point of it is to just laugh and love and have fun. And yes, experience the pain and all the other things, because you can't have one without the other. But it's not a bad thing to have the pain. It's just, it makes the joy even more fun. Anyway, that was my experience of infinity. And it gave me like it gave me the peace of not chasing answers, because they're already there. Even though I have sort of that was a moment, obviously. And I'm going to be holding on to that moment, but I did have several weeks after that where I'm like, oh my God, I don't even want to be alive in this game anymore. Like, I'm not saying it cured all of my anxiety and depression and all the things, but it was knowing that that's inside of me is like, oh, okay, the game is fun. And I know that we're going into a good place, because again, love is the answer. And that's where that's what we're waking up to. But a little bit of a bumpy ride along the way sometimes, but don't despair, because we're going in an awesome ascended direction. We're not going into the dead timeline of becoming machines and disconnecting from our emotional bodies. So as hard as it is to reconnect with our emotions, and as hard as this feminine energy integration has been and is probably continuing to be, it's gonna fucking be worth it, because we're literally going into infinity. We never left it, but we're just remembering that we're part of it. It was very cool. So do KK's healing portal, because they really unlocked infinity for me. And that's my infinity story.
It's so beautiful. Oh man. Anyway, I mean,
Thank
I'm
you
really
thank you for actually having me tell that story again, because I had lost that in myself the last few weeks, and I was really feeling depressed. And now that you had me retell it, I was like, oh, it's okay.